Okay, we're ready to get started on some writing tips and some ideas on where you find resources for your blog post. There are really three techniques, and in this section, we're really only going to focus on the creation. We'll do curation and cultivation later. Why? The majority of blog posts that you're going to write will be created by you. These other two techniques kind of help fill in the content and round out your blog a little bit. So, as you're creating content, what you want to do is you want to write about the things that you know. Think about your industry. What are the trends? Are there regulatory issues? Are there new products coming along and new technologies being introduced? Maybe it's not necessarily something you're working on, but things that you're interested in that you think your customers could be interested in as well. You also can write about your products and not just, hey, we've got something new, but do a post that is common questions, things people always ask about your widget. Write a blog post on how to get started. If you've got a complicated sales process or a multi-step process, take people through what happens at each step along the way. Case studies and testimonials are great as well. One of the very best blog posts I ever wrote was in answer to the question that I kept getting, why do I need hosting and a fee to design the website and then a domain name? Why do I have all these different fees? And I always answered it the same way. I always explained that your website was like a mobile home, but it wasn't any fun to live in unless you had running water and electricity. And that came from the mobile home park, or in the case of your website, the hosting company, and that your domain name was kind of like a forwarding address. When I wrote all of that as a blog post, it searched really well. We got tons of traffic. And every time the question came up, I could just send a link to the blog post. So these product posts can be very helpful, not only for SEO, but also as part of your sales process. Write about your company. People want to know who they're doing business with. Write profiles of individual employees. These posts will do extremely well on social media. Did you win an award? Let people know. Behind the scenes, what's going on? How do you make the sausage? And if you've got a special event coming up, do a post about that too. You can also think about themes. We did this for a year. Every month we had a different theme. Our business is not really tied to holidays, so we didn't do holidays, but we did areas of expertise. We have another client that has a series of products, and so every month we featured one of their products, and all the blog posts and social media and case studies revolved around that theme. You can turn questions into content. How do I prevent my pipes from bursting? Becomes 3 ways to protect your pipes. Can I deduct mileage from work to home? No, you can't deduct that. And a whole blog post for this accountant really talks about calculating mileage, what you can do, what you can't do. A follow-up to this was actually a nice piece on leasing versus owning a company car. How do I pick the right wine? Red, red or white? Become a wine expert today. Truth is, the person reading knows they're not going to become an expert in one day, but it catches their attention and they're willing to find out what else you've got to say. And keep it simple. Do not overcomplicate the process. A blog should have one key phrase, one idea that you're trying to win search on. 600 words minimum. That may sound like a lot, but it really isn't. You remember those high school papers that you had to write 500 words? That's what you're really aiming for here. You got to have an engaging title, and we're going to talk about subject lines in a little more detail in a moment. And a featured image, because as you share this blog post on social media, you need that great graphic. One of the things that I do, this is one of my favorite tricks because I'm high auditory. I think out loud. And so I play to my strength. Earlier, I showed you my idea wall. Here's another idea. I have my cell phone has got a little recording app on it. If I have a random idea, I simply dictate it. I record my thoughts either as little bullet points or as a whole conversation. Today, there's tons of free software that will transcribe your post. Now, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to be horrified at the grammar, but it gives you that starting point. And now all you have to do is go in and edit it to clean it up and make it interesting. Simple blog layouts, picture at the top, little bit of text, and always, always a call to action at the bottom. This is really important that you have a logical next step at the bottom of every blog post. Let's talk about subject lines for a moment. Headless body found in topless bar. That subject line grabs your attention. And whether you're writing for a newspaper or a blog post, it is all about the headline. This particular headline was a newspaper headline back in the 60s. It was this gruesome murder, but this headline is considered one of the most compelling newspaper headlines of all time because it was clever, it was interesting, it was a little bit of a pun, it is a little weird, but it got people's attention. Headlines can inform, they can warn, they can persuade. You can go negative with a headline, you can maybe have a hint of mystery. I have always believed that you need to spend almost as much time on your headline as you do on the rest of the post. Because bottom line is, if people don't like your headline, if it doesn't catch their attention, then you know what? They're not going to read the rest of your article. You can go negative. And it is surprising to people that it's human nature. We actually will respond to a negative headline more, we'll pay more attention to it than a positive one. 5 mistakes every business owner makes is going to get more attention than how to improve your business. You can ask or answer questions. We used to do in marketing a lot with asking questions. Do you want this? Are you curious about that? What I've seen recently and working with some friends of mine who are journalists, what they're saying is the same thing. We all have so many questions in our lives. People really want answers. And so a better way to approach this is to say, here's how to grow your business. Here's how to X, Y, and Z. Or tease with a little bit of mystery. Have a headline that leaves people wondering, what is that about? Just make sure you actually answer the question when they read the article. Create a sense of urgency. 5 things you have to do today. Tempt people with numbers and quick solutions. 3 ways to double your sales. Make it personal. Use words in your headline that help people figure out this is really for me, not just 5 retirement strategies everybody needs to know, but born in 1956, this retirement strategy is for you. Are you going to turn off some people? Yeah. But are you going to really get people who are in that niche to pay attention? Absolutely. You want to make sure that as you are finishing your blog post, you have all of the last minute touches. Make sure you have a featured image, links to other content on your website, and even maybe one link to some other resource that's relevant. And always, always, always that clear next step.